Okay, hello teachers. We are back with another week of Classroom Management by Design for the primary teacher. If you are new here, I am Lauren Zabigan. I am the founder of LessonPlanToolbox.com, where we help primary teachers master classroom management with a specific focus on movement. So if you've been around these past couple weeks, you've been hopefully loving our little series where we've been talking about movement and how it just helps overall with classroom management. So this week we're going to continue this series and really talk about how it helps students stay calm, stay focused, and just be ready to learn. So let's get started. As a primary tongue-tied. As a primary teacher, you've likely noticed that your students thrive when they have opportunities to move their bodies. But did you know there is solid science evidence behind why movement helps students not only behave better, but also regulate their emotions and focus on learning? So this week, we are going to share this information with you with some fascinating connections between movement and emotional regulation, how physical activity affects the brain, and why integrating movement into your classroom is a proactive way to improve behavior for your students. By the end of this, you are going to have actionable strategies to help your students stay calm, focused, and ready to learn, and it will help you in the long run as well. So let's get started. This is how movement affects the mind. Movement does more than burn off energy. It is a key factor in brain development and in brain function. Here's how. Boosting the prefrontal cortex is when physical activity stimulates the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain that's responsible for your focus, your decision-making, and your self-regulation. So when students move, they activate this part of their brain, making them better equipped to manage their emotion and their impulses. Key, that's clutch, okay? It's also going to regulate the amygdala. The amygdala is the brain's emotional processing center. Movement helps reduce amygdala activity, which lowers stress and anxiety levels in our students. It calms them down, okay? Movement's also going to be releasing neurotransmitters. So exercise increases the release of dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins. Those are all chemicals that improve mood and focus. These neurotransmitters create a sense of well-being, helping students to stay calm and engaged. It all works together to bring the calmness to your classroom. Research from the University of Illinois found that students who engaged in 20 minutes of physical activity before a lesson performed better on tests of attention and memory compared to their peers who were just sedentary. So before tests, block 20 minutes out, bring in some movement. This shows how critical movement is for cognitive and emotional readiness. 20 minutes before you give them a test, especially those state tests that are coming up, let them move, okay? Emotional regulation is one of the most important skills primary students need to develop, and movement can be a powerful tool to support this process. Here are some activities that help students manage their emotions, and again, take what you like, leave what you don't. Calming walks. If students are upset or overstimulated, a short walk around the classroom or the school hallway can help them reset. Walking provides that rhythmic, soothing motion that reduces stress. Another activity is just a tension release. Encourage your students to tense their muscles for 5 seconds, then release them. This progressive relaxation technique is going to calm the nervous system and therefore calm their bodies. A third technique to keep in mind is breathing with movement. Okay, so pair deep breathing with slow stretches, such as reaching for the sky or touching your toes. This combines the calming effects of breath work with the physical release of movement. The fourth activity you can try to do is an emotion dance. Let students express their feelings through dance. So simple. They can stomp their feet to release frustration, or they can sway gently to mimic calmness. Let them be creative. Okay? By integrating these strategies, you're teaching your students how to recognize and regulate their emotions while keeping their bodies active. Our bodies were meant for motion. You know this. The next thing we want to talk about is that movement can also enhance focus and concentration, which are essential for academic success. So here are just some brain-based strategies, again, you can try. Cross-body exercises, okay? These are activities that cross the midline of the body, such as touching the right elbow to the left knee. They activate both hemispheres of the brain, which improves coordination and attention and helps with learning to read, believe it or not. Movement patterns. Clap, stomp, or jump in patterns, and then challenge your students to replicate them. This boosts working memory and concentration. This one is my favorite, and they don't do this enough. Balance activities, okay? Have students balance on one foot or walk along a taped line on the floor. These exercises require focus and help the students practice self-discipline. Usually if they don't get it the first time, they want to try again. Then there's those micro movements. So for seated tasks, you can encourage small repetitive movements like fidgeting with the stress ball or bouncing lightly on a wobble cushion or a wobble stool. These can help those restless students channel energy while staying focused. Again, so simple, and you know so many of these, but it's just good to hear, reiterate, and hopefully you're picking up some new nuggets, okay? So, integrating movement into your classroom routine, it doesn't have to be disruptive. In fact, it can become a natural part of your behavior management strategy, and we want this to happen. Have some transition activities. Use movement to make transitions smoother. For example, ask students to hop, march, tiptoe to the next activity instead of just walking. So simple, and they'll love it. They'll have fun, and they'll see this as your fun side. A post-recess reset. After recess, lead a quick stretching session or deep breathing exercise to help your students shift gears from playtime to learning mode. Super important. A third idea, have some movement stations. Set up learning stations where students complete tasks that involve movement, such as hopping to solve math problems or walking in place while reading sight words. They can do this and they'll love it. A fourth idea you can try are interactive lessons. These are my favorite. These, I'll get into it later, but incorporate kinesthetic learning by using hand motions to represent concepts or acting out vocabulary words or creating movement-based games for review sessions. If you're inside our community, this is something I will do for you for your individualized lessons or units. So I love doing that for teachers. Quick teacher tip. Setting expectations for movement activities, super important because movement can transform your classroom. It's important to set those clear expectations to keep your activities structured and effective. So you want to first establish ground rules. Teach your students how to transition in and out of movement activities. For example, use a signal like a bell or a clap pattern to regain their attention. Then you want to plan for space. You want to ensure that movement activities are safe and fit within your classroom's layout. That's what's so great about what I do. It's all meant for small spaces. So consider moving desks aside or using outdoor areas when possible. But for what I have designed strategically for teachers, it's all done within the classroom. Of course, regularly schedule movement breaks or activities. You want to do this so students know what to expect. The consistency reduces the risk of overstimulation and keeps your students engaged. And then, super important, observe and adapt. Watch how students respond to the different activities. Some may need calming movements, while others may benefit from more energizing actions. That's why within our community, we give you a little bit of both. You're going to know, okay? So, those are like a bunch of strategies, but let's just talk about these long-term benefits of movement in the classroom. When you incorporate movement into your classroom, you're not just improving behavior in the moment. You are setting your students up for long-term success. Movement helps to build self-regulation skills because students learn how to manage their emotions and their energy levels, which they might not get at home. It's also going to help with focus and attention. Regular movement improves the brain's ability to concentrate on tasks. Physical health, no brainer. Movement reduces the risk of obesity and other health issues that are creating happier and healthier learners. Another one of my favorites are social skills. Group activities that involve movement foster the collaboration and the communication, and your students are going to have fun. The science is clear. Movement is a vital part of learning and development, especially for young children. By prioritizing physical activities in your classroom, you're not only enhancing the academic outcomes, but you're also nurturing the emotional and social growth. We don't do this enough as teachers. So here's your big takeaway. Movement isn't just a break from learning. It is an essential component of creating a well-managed, a well-focused, and an emotionally balanced classroom. By understanding the science behind movement and implementing strategies that support regulation and focus, you will see remarkable improvements in your students' behavior and their engagement. So take the next step. Start small with just a calming walk for a few crossbody exercises, and then gradually integrate movement into your daily routine. Your students' minds and bodies will thank you, and your class will become more dynamic and just a joyful place to learn. I have been doing this for, I can't even tell you how many classes, and each and every time the students look forward to it. Boys and girls alike look forward to this. They love it. It's so critical and so beneficial, not only for the social emotional part or the academic part, but the actual physical health. Our kids do not move enough. This is why we have an obesity problem in this country. If we can get them moving in 2 to 3 minute intervals, 3 to 5 times a day, think of how much movement and activity that is for them. It could be up to them walking a mile a day, which is huge. They're not going to know it, but that's how much movement can impact them. What a difference it can make. I encourage you to sign up for our 5-day challenge. It is going on now. It's called Movement to Mastery. It is completely free. We are just giving teachers nuggets on how to strategically implement movement in their classrooms safely in small spaces during these winter months where you might not be getting outside as much. I have been having so much fun helping teachers with this, introducing this to teachers. I would love for you to join us. Click the link at the bottom of this post, all for free, and it will take you 30 seconds to sign up. You do not have to attend live. As long as I have your email, you can receive all the recordings, all the information, all at your fingertips. If you do attend live, we would love to have you. Happy to answer any questions. It is going to be January 27th to January 31st, and we look forward to just being there. We're going to just hop on live on Instagram, and every day is different, so we're going to try and vary the times, and if you're scrolling Instagram and you're on with us, stop, take a listen, take a watch, see what we're doing, have some fun. I guarantee you, your students will love you. This is classroom management in such a fun way like I've never done before. So hopefully we see you inside. Until next week, teach, relax, repeat.